Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's the Happy Healthcare Professionals live show. I hope you guys are well this evening. And gosh, yesterday was such a big day for us here in the UK. We marked a year since we went into lockdown, which is such a bizarre, weird experience. So much has changed in that time. I really hope that you are well this evening. And if you are joining me live, do say hi in the comments and let me know where you're joining me from, because I love interacting with you guys. So please do say hi in the comments and let me know where you're from. I am really excited about today's episode because I don't have a guest actually this week. It's just me on my own because I'm going to be talking about when is it the right time to make a career change? And this is a question that I get asked quite a lot as a pharmacy career change coach. And so I wanted to share some strategies and some exercises that I actually use in my coaching practice with you guys to help you to be able to navigate through that period of not really knowing what it is that you want to do. So if you don't know me by now, let me introduce myself. My name is Komal. I'm a former national level pharmacist. I actually used to be the head of dispensing and supply at the Pharmaceutical Services Negotiating Committee here in the UK. And I'm now a holistic pharmacist and a pharmacy career change coach. And I feel really passionate about pharmacists reinventing their careers, creating a career path that they really love and that they feel fulfilled by, creating freedom for themselves and really being able to become that happy healthcare professional again, because we all go into our profession because we want to help people. So that is really what I love doing and I love helping people with. So it is my pleasure to have you here. Next week is really special because next week actually marks for me an entire year over which I went live almost every single week, which is like quite a big deal because I didn't actually ever think that I would be doing that. So for those of you guys who have watched any of the episodes of the Happy Healthcare Professionals live show, and prior to that, if you are in my Facebook community and you have been watching my lives in there, then I just want to extend a massive thank you to you, to say thank you so much for spending your time with me and joining me on my lives and listening in, because I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do that. So thank you, a huge thank you to you for sharing your time with me. So going back to today's session, I am going to be talking about when is it the right time to make a career change, and feel free to ask me any questions as we go along as well. I can see the chat here, so I can answer your questions as you go along. And if you've got any specific questions, feel free to ask them to me in the chat. So this is a question that I think sometimes it evades us. You know, we sit there in our jobs, in our careers, doing the work, and sometimes it kind of hits us like a bit of a ton of bricks. We get to a point in our career where we're kind of like, most certainly for myself, I got to a place where I thought, this is where I want to be. This is exactly where I want to work. And then I got there and it wasn't quite where I wanted to be. And something didn't quite feel right. And normally that is a trigger, right? It's one of the triggers for us. It's a signal that's telling us that something isn't quite right. But is that signal saying you need to make a career change? I am going to share with you some exercises that I use in my coaching program that I do with pharmacy professionals to help you to be able to navigate this time, navigate whether a career change is actually right for you or not. So I'm going to share with you 3 exercises that I think are really powerful that will help you to identify whether a career change is the right move for you. Now, some people that I speak to, they will often say to me, oh, I would like to do such and such thing, but I actually really love my job right now. And clearly, it's not the right time for them to move careers or move jobs. Sometimes we can fall into the trap and the illusion that it's the right thing to do. Maybe it's because you've been in a job for a really long time, you've been in a career for a really long time. Maybe it's because you see everybody else around you moving on and doing different things, and you think, well, maybe I should be doing that. But I always say the very first thing that you need to do is to look at your own energy when it comes to your career. And one of the great exercises that you can do in order to do this is to do what I describe as an energy exercise or energy study of your day and your career. So what do I mean by that? I mean, actually looking at the activities that you do in your day-to-day career and looking at whether they are actually giving you energy or whether they're actually sucking the energy out of you. And this is a really, really powerful exercise, because sometimes we can fall into the trap of believing that the energy that we get from our careers is just sapping, and that we could be doing something else. But in fact, when we look at it more closely, we realize that there's actually a lot of activities that we really enjoy, that bring us lots of joy, and that really light us up. And that's where this exercise comes into play, because it's not about comparing yourself to other people's careers. It's not about looking at what the person next to you is doing or the person above you is doing. It's really looking inward and saying, am I actually getting energy from my career on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And there are some signs and symptoms that I would say we definitely need to look at. One of them is, how much do you feel like you are irritable when you come home from your work every single day? How is that impacting on your relationships? That normally is a really, really good indicator and trigger for you to start looking at whether there are things that you can shift in your existing career or whether actually you need to make a change. So step one is to look at your energy levels. Which activities are giving you energy? Which activities are sapping the energy out of your day? And it's not a case of you looking at your day and saying, do you know what? It's all got to be energy giving, because it doesn't. We know that not every single activity that we do is going to give us energy. But what we really want to look at is my day giving me energy on the whole, or is it sapping the energy away? And it's not about you getting 100% in terms of energy from the activities. It's really looking at the majority of the time. Do I feel invigorated by the work that I'm doing the majority of the time? Or do I feel not so invigorated? So that's my first exercise that I'm sharing with you guys. And I hope that you find that really useful. And of course, if you've got any questions about it, do drop them to me and let me know. So that's the first exercise. The second exercise is really asking yourself quite a big question. And that big question is really kind of discovering whether you are actually living your life's purpose. And this is a really, really big question. And it's a question that we often feel like it's a pipe dream. Living my life's purpose, doing work that I absolutely love, it's something that other people do and not me. And I really want you to look at this as really explore this for yourself, because what you're asking yourself when you're thinking about what is your life's purpose and does your work align to your life's purpose is you're asking yourself two really fundamental questions. Who am I? And what's important to me? And those two questions we can sometimes spend not enough time on. Actually, I find that most of the time when I work with people, they actually don't ask themselves this question enough. And it's so, so important to ask yourself these questions. Who am I and what's important to me? And that actually ties into what your values are. And your values are so important when it comes to guiding you in terms of your career. And so you have to feel that your career and your role and the activities that you do are aligned to who you are and what's important to you. So that is my second exercise. Really ask yourself the question of who are you and what's important to you, and take time to explore your values. And if you don't know what they are, then this is a really, really fun exercise that you can do for yourself. And what you can do is get a piece of paper, write down on one side of that piece of paper people that you really admire, a person that you really admire, and write down in one column on that piece of paper. You draw two columns on the piece of paper, and on the left-hand column, right at the top, people that I admire, and write 8 to 10 people that you admire. They could be living, they could be dead, they could be someone who you were really close to. Maybe it was a grandparent or a parent. Maybe it was an aunt or an uncle. Maybe it was your school teacher or a coach. Write down all of the people that you really feel you admire basically, and write down those 8 to 10 people in your left hand column. And then in your right hand column, write down the qualities of that person that you admire. And this is a really fun exercise to do, and you can do it over a period of time. Really think about who these people are that you admire. They could be famous, they could be non-famous, they could be, people in your family, they could be people that you work with. And really think about the qualities of these people. And look at this, compare the qualities of these people, and really draw which qualities are attracting you. And that will give you the essence of who you are as an individual, who you are in terms of your qualities, and who you are as a person. And it's a really, really powerful exercise to do. I did this exercise a few years back, and I found qualities from people that I had not even thought about for a really long time. And it was really a fun exercise for me to do. My gran featured quite heavily in it. My dad featured quite heavily in it. And so many other people that I admire, people's books that I've read, famous people that I look up to. And it was such a fun exercise to do. So that's my second exercise, for you to really look at who you are and what's important to you. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is creating a desired list. And sometimes we can get really, really bogged down into what we think our lives should be like, what we think our careers should be like. But actually, what we're not looking at is what is it in my career right now that I really love, and what is it in my career right now that I really don't love. And just writing those two things down will give you what your desired lists are. What's desired? What do you desire from your career? So what things do you really love doing? What things do you really not like doing? And then when you look at those two and pick out the ones that you really, really enjoy doing, you can compare those to your energy list. Look at which one of those are actually giving you the energy, and which one of those things are sapping the energy away. So that's a really good exercise that you can do. Create a desired list and seek out ways that you can actually create more of the things that you really love doing in your existing career. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. These are quite deep exercises that I go through in my career coaching when I work with people. And if you're interested in learning more or knowing more about it, then please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Drop me a message and I will be more than happy to help you. And I hope that you have found today's live session useful, and you've got some tips out of it, and you've got some exercises that you can go away and do. And I would love to hear what came up for you. I'd love to hear what comes back for you from these exercises. Let me know, and I shall see you guys all very, very soon next week's session. Just before I go, next week's session, I have got a guest coming on. She is a chief pharmacist, and she actually created her own jewelry brand for a while. And she left pharmacy and came back into pharmacy. And she's got a really interesting career story. So I cannot wait for her to come on and share her story with us. And take care. Hope you have a great, great week. Bye.